Oh hey, I'm just enjoying one of the best Spider-Man movie scenes of all time. Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another video on my channel, Mc80s Entertainment. I'm your host, Adam Mc80. So I don't know if you saw last week, but Tom Holland and Marvel, they officially announced what Spider-Man's suit is going to be looking like in the new Spider-Man Homecoming sequel, Spider-Man Far From Home. I believe they actually had showed it on Jimmy Kimmel too. It just looks just so clean, just so sleek, so form-fitting. Actually, personally, to me, it kind of looks a lot like Dr. Octopus's Spider-Man suit when he becomes Spider-Man in the Superior Spider-Man storyline. Basically, it's a whole storyline where Dr. Octopus switches brains with Spider-Man right before he dies. And so Peter Parker dies in Dr. Octopus's body, and then he lives on as Spider-Man. It's honestly one of the best recent Spider-Man stories I've read, and I strongly recommend checking it out. Anyway, with the recent announcements of the new Spider-Man suit, and I know that I believe that Jake Gyllenhaal has been spotted on set in the Mysterio costume, and so I do believe that Mysterio is going to be the villain in the movie. So, kind of unfortunately spoils the fact that Spider-Man will, of course, return after his death in Infinity War, because thank God, that scene was heartbreaking. Oh, and with the Black Cat DLC for Spider-Man PS4 coming out tomorrow, which that game is just absolutely awesome. In fact, my stepson Jaden, he's been doing some game playthroughs of the game, and it's just so good. He's doing a great job. I've been teaching him how to edit and everything too, because he really wants to start doing the whole YouTube thing. And so yeah, check him out. I have him right up there, so you can click on that and check out some of his videos. So yeah, with all this recent Spider-Man news going on, I thought, hey, why don't we take a look at all the other Spider-Man movies that have come out in the past. I mean, we've had the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, we've had the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, and now we got a little baby Tom Holland doing his Spider-Man movies too. So today, I know it's been done countless times already, but I'm actually going to be giving a ranking of my personal opinion of the Spider-Man movies. Which are the best, and which are the worst. I think you guys are going to be a little surprised, and but yeah, I think you're going to like this one. Let's check it out. So believe it or not, there has been 6 Spider-Man movies in total since the original with Tobey Maguire came out. 6. You know, so it's kind of wondering how I'm gonna rank these. Should I do it from best to worst or worst to best? Let's start off with the worst. Let's go worst to best. Okay, so coming in at number 6, I am going to have to put The Amazing Spider-Man 1 with Andrew Garfield. This movie did not need to exist when it initially came out, because the only reason this movie existed was because when Marvel was putting out all of their movies and they were doing great. I mean, we had Iron Man, we had the Avengers, we had I believe this was during phase 1 of the great Marvel movies. And then Sony was like, oh man, it's like, you see this, they're making all these good movies, we're gonna try to get Spider-Man back from us. Because a while back, Sony had gotten the movie rights for Spider-Man from Marvel because Marvel was in some financial troubles and they needed money. And so Sony got the rights, and so Sony were the ones who produced the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man trilogy. So when Marvel then started putting out good Marvel movies, Sony panicked a little bit because they knew that Marvel was probably going to want to try to get the rights to Spider-Man back. And so I believe if they didn't make us another Spider-Man movie within a certain amount of time, then Marvel was legally going to be allowed to get Spider-Man back. And so this is why we got this movie right here. Believe it or not, the one thing I actually liked about this movie that a lot of people did not like was the suit. I actually really liked how this Spider-Man suit looked. I liked how it fitted, I actually kind of liked the yellow eyes, and I just liked but yeah, that was kind of about all I liked about it. I mean, the villain was a mess. I mean, it was Dr. Connors. I mean, the lizard. His main goal was to turn all of New York into lizards. Not a great plan. But yeah, and I also didn't like how they played off, like, Peter Parker in this movie as like this. In the comics, I mean, Peter Parker, he's a nerd. I mean, he's like kind of socially inept and doesn't really know how to interact with people. But like in this movie, he's kind of like this handsome, like cute nerd, I guess, nerd. And anyway, like he's like, it shows like the bully in the movie like picking on a different kid, and then he stands up for the kid in the movie. When in reality, I mean, Peter Parker was kind of always the one being picked on. I don't know. And the dialogue in the movie too, it just... Alright, webheads, and coming in at number 5 is, unfortunately, Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. I know I love the dancing in it. I know a lot of people hate the dancing, but come on, low-key, y'all love the dancing. The gripe with this movie is, of course, like with everybody says, is the crazy amount of villains they tried packing into this movie. I mean, first they introduced Harry as the new Green Goblin, and by itself, that could have been a really good story. Because, I mean, Spider-Man 2 ended with Harry finding out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man and then vowing to take revenge on that, and then introducing him just as a villain in the movie. I think that would have been fine by itself. But no, they tried to have their cake and eat it too. And then they threw Sandman up in there. And honestly, his story arc too. He could have been a really good villain all by himself also. And then they also tried to throw Venom up in there. Not the new cool Venom, but the Topher Grace Venom. Yeah, and like, he doesn't keep his mask on. Venom is known for his big mouth with the tongue and everything like that. He keeps saying, "Hey, I'm Topher Grace." "What's up? I'm Topher Grace. Oh, by the way, I'm Topher Grace." But yeah, I mean, the pacing of the movie, it wasn't the greatest. The emo Spider-Man thing though, that makes the movie. It really does. I love it. I love his hair. I love how he's acting, how he's dancing, how he's dressing. I think Tobey Maguire secretly kind of really loved playing this part. And you know what? Another thing I didn't like about this movie, ever since I was like a kid when I saw it, was the ending. I mean, it ends like kind of sad. I mean, of course, Harry dies. He gets killed by Venom, and then it just kind of shows like, I know Mary Jane and Peter's relationship was on the rocks during the whole movie, basically, and then it just kind of shows them like just dancing like sadly in the club at the end of the movie. So it's kind of like, are they back together or are they not? It's like, I don't know. And then like the movie just kind of ends. Like I feel like they maybe had more planned for it, but didn't have enough time, maybe? I don't know. Alright guys, coming in at number 4 is, believe it or not, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I actually kind of really like this movie, and I know the critics like slammed this movie when it came out. And you know what, I mean, I know now it's still kind of lower ranking on my list here, but calm down, slow your roll. But and honestly, in all reality, like, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I remember I saw this in the theater twice that I liked it that much. It's like, go ahead and roast me up in them comments below, be like, oh. Biggest problem I have with this movie, honestly, is the introduction. It starts off with like Peter's parents like escaping from Oscorp agents because they have some kind of secret to something. I believe it's the spider powers. And so it starts off like this guy fighting them on the plane or something like that, and it's honestly like really disturbing, like a really disturbing introduction, like very violent. I mean, I understand all superhero movies need to have their low levels of violence in there, but a lot of kids like Spider-Man, and like I remember like wanting to bring this movie into the daycare I used to work at when I was younger. And I was like, this intro, I was like, if a parent walked in, I was like, they'd be a little disturbed by this. But yeah, if you just kind of take that beginning scene out, the movie, and then you go to the scene where like it shows him off as Spider-Man in the actual classic looking suit, swinging around the city and everything. It's great. Like, I feel like that's like, Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he got the personality of Spider-Man down perfectly. He had the quips. He had the humor, he had the, I don't know, like he when he was in the suit, like, that was Spider-Man. Him as Peter Parker, maybe no. But as Spider-Man, yes. And like, I feel like if you don't take this movie seriously, it's good. Like, I feel like, honestly, in all opinion, like, you should not take any superhero movie seriously. Go in for what it's for. It's a superhero movie. You're in to get entertained and just forget about the rest of the world and everything like that, and just kind of jump into these fictional universes with these fictional characters, and you're gonna have a great time. I mean, so what? The bad guy is this former electrical engineer and falls into a vat of electric eels, and because he gets electrocuted by the eels, they fix the gap in between his teeth, and then he turns blue and gets electric powers. So what? So what? I mean, if the Peter's best friend, who they never mentioned in the original movie, but was somehow his best friend, needs Spider-Man's blood to survive because spiders can self-heal, allegedly, apparently, and he's dying from a family illness. So what? But yeah, those were some issues with the movie. The Osborn curse. It's like, oh, what is going on with superhero movies? But yeah, when I saw the movie in theaters and saw that those electric eels were able to fix the gap in between Jamie Foxx's teeth, I literally just started laughing right there. I thought it was great. But honestly, the movie was thoroughly entertaining. Visually, like, I thought it was great. I thought the special effects were really good, and Paul Giamatti, of all people, as the Rhino, like, I couldn't understand a word he was saying during the whole movie, but him getting arrested by Spider-Man at the beginning was great, and him appearing at the end in the big Rhino suit at the end, I thought that was great too. And they really tried to tease like this whole big Spider-Man cinematic universe with all like the Sinister Six weapons in that one scene where it shows that mysterious hatted guy walking. We never really found out who that was, did we? R.I.P. mysterious hat guy. But yeah, it's not a bad Spider-Man movie. It's not a good Spider-Man movie. But if it's on like Netflix or something one day and you got a little box of popcorn and you just want to kind of sit back and relax, it's worth the box of popcorn. Okay, y'all are probably gonna hate me for this, but it's still high ranking, but it's definitely not the best. I'm going to have to put number 3 as Spider-Man 2. Now I know everyone's trying to say, so Adam, Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man movie and arguably the best superhero movie of all time. My opinion, y'all are wrong. In reality, like I have it as number 3. That's high. But in reality, like as a kid, I always found Spider-Man 2 to be really boring. Like he's hardly ever even Spider-Man in it. I mean, he's Spider-Man at the beginning, and then like he loses his powers, and it's him just kind of moping around, feeling guilty because he doesn't have his powers, and Dr. Octopus doing his thing. The scene with Dr. Octopus, though, terrorizing the doctors in the hospital, that was terrifying. It was like, I remember as a little kid, I was deeply disturbed by that, especially at the one scene where he's dragging the nurse, and you just see like her scratching her fingernails against the floor, and you see like the pieces of the floor peeling up because she's stuck into it so hard. Woo! The best thing to come out of Spider-Man 2 was the video game on GameCube and PS2. That game was awesome. Even finding the balloon for that little kid was fun. Oh, and one of the best missions in that game, of course, was, come on everybody, the pizza delivery missions. I can still hear the music today. Yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. I mean, Dr. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus, fantastic. That's like perfect casting, I thought. And, but yeah, MJ was annoying in the movie. But the overall story was good. The character development for Spider-Man was good. Because I mean, I know in the first movie it shows him developing as a character through getting his powers. That's how he develops as a character. But in this movie it shows how he develops through losing his powers and then discovers who he is now who he is without them. I really like the contrast between Dr. Octopus and Spider-Man in this movies. And they're just very well written characters. I mean, Peter Parker, of course, we all know his origin story already. He starts out with a loving family with his Aunt May and Uncle Ben. He gains power and then loses his Uncle Ben and then uses that loss as motivation to help others. And then Otto Octavius, on the other hand, similar to Peter, is a brilliant man of science. He loses his wife through tragedy, gains power through the extended use of his mechanical arms, and then uses that power then to hurt others in order to attain, for selfish needs, to continue his research. So I mean, it's kind of like a two sides of the same coin style thing where similar things can happen to different people, and based upon the choices that they make, it can totally change the outcome. So yeah, I mean, it's just things like that that just make this a very well written movie. Arguably, of course, I mean, I do find it still a little bit boring, but it's, hey bros, it's number 3. It's number 3. Chill out. Okay, coming in at number 2, and you guys are probably going to be surprised that I'm ranking this up so high, is none other than Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire. This movie is hilarious. I mean, I used to think it was awesome as a little kid. And it still is, but it's like went from insanely awesome to insanely hilarious. I know my friend Tyler, Rob, and my brother Isaiah, we all will sometimes just sit around and just watch this movie just to laugh at it. I mean, honestly, one of the funniest characters in the movie is Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin. Just like his faces that he makes and just some of the lines that he has. He's one of the best characters in the whole movie. Just take a look at just like this one scene right here.
I'm gonna get you out of here! It's okay!
You're pathetically predictable.
He's great. But yeah, the flow of the movie is just like chop. It's just like one thing after the other, and it's just so good. I mean, who hasn't seen this movie? Honestly, we've all seen it at one point. I don't really need to go into great detail to describe this thing because at some point we've at least seen a couple. We've seen it on TV. We've seen it on DVD. I had it on the VHS. But yeah, it's like purposely quirky, and it's like purposely kind of stupid. And it just works. It just really works. Oh, and the second most like hilarious character in the movie is of course J. Jonah Jameson. I mean, that guy is great. And you know what makes it even better? The hair that he's got going on in the movie. It's not even his real hair. He's like bald. That's like a hairpiece that he's wearing too. But the movie is just, it does everything big. It like no one holds anything back in this movie. Like everyone is overacting in this movie, and it just shows, and it's just great. Because I do theater occasionally, especially with my brother. We'll do some stage stuff sometimes, and I just love taking the roles of characters too who are just over the top and big. And I just love doing everything big too. And I think that's probably why I'm ranking this movie so high and that I like it. It's just cause it's just having a great time. Everyone's having a good time on the set. Like, I would have loved to have been on the set of this movie because it just seems like everyone's having a good time. Because the director, Sam Raimi, I mean, you could tell the guy likes to have a good time too, because like with everything that he does is quirky and fun. And especially things that are not meant to be quirky and fun. Like Evil Dead with a bunch of undead, like demonic zombie creatures coming out to kill other people. The subject matter for that is not fun, but he somehow is able to take that and make it fun. Like Bruce Campbell, like groovy. Like that is how he got his start from those movies. Something like Spiderman 2, I mean, about a guy who gains powers and then suffers the loss of his uncle and then decides to become a superhero. I mean, Spider-Man's backstory is honestly kind of tragic, but he took that and made it great. I love this movie. And alright, coming in at number 1, I didn't want to rank it this high, but yes, of course, I have to put the obligatory Spider-Man Homecoming. I really did not want to like this movie going in, and honestly, like, I still don't know if I like Tom Holland at all. Like, I don't know, like, in real life, like, he seems like he might be kind of a jerk, and like, something about his face just doesn't... But in reality, everything wrapped together with Spider-Man Homecoming, I mean, it's just a well-written, well-done, well-shot, just overall good movie. The story is good. I mean, it seems to really tackle how it would be about a teenager in today's times, just gaining these powers and how he would handle a personal life and handle those powers while just aspiring to be a great person. And of course, I really like the fathership role that Tony Stark provides to him, that mentorship role, and just that back and forth between the two of them. It just really does lead into an overall good story. And then that plot twist, like into the movie, where it's revealed that Michael Keaton's character, the villain, the Vulture, is the father of the girl that Peter Parker is taking to the homecoming dance. That scene is just great. It's got to be one of the best superhero movie scenes in recent years, and probably like one of the best like movie twists, honestly, probably within the last 3-5 years, something like that. But yeah, the antics too between like Peter Parker and his friend who work together, I mean, that's great. Like, you can honestly feel that these characters, that these cast members seemingly really like each other. They like working with each other, and and I love the Homecoming suit. It's got to be my favorite Spider-Man suit of all time. I rock with that suit all the time in the new Spider-Man PS4 game. It's just awesome, and somehow then, like I said, the Spider-Man Far From Home suit has already topped that as my favorite Spider-Man suit. And then Michael Keaton as the Vulture. He's a very well-written villain. He's got to be one of the top Marvel villains so far. I'd have to say number 1, of course, is Loki. Number 2 is probably Killmonger from Black Panther. And then number 3 is probably Michael Keaton as the Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming. His character arc is really good, because I know a lot of times in Marvel movies the villain is just kind of there to be a villain, just for the good guys to punch around and then just blow up at the end and then just kill him and then just move on to the next stereotypical bad guy. But this one, he was good. And he didn't die, so they can actually keep him around to use for future movies, so that's good. But all in all, hey, these are superhero movies. They're Spider-Man movies. Spider-Man is awesome. You guys are awesome. And it doesn't matter, it's our own opinion. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But yeah, go check out the movies, all 6 of them. They all have at least one entertaining feature of them, and it's Spider-Man. You can never get enough Spider-Man. Go check out the comics. Go check out the new game. Ooh, and while we're on the topic of the new game, don't forget to check out the new Black Cat DLC out this week. It's gonna be awesome. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Let me know what your favorite Spider-Man movie is, and let me know what you're looking forward to the most in the upcoming Spider-Man Homecoming. Thank you so much again for watching. God bless, and I'll see you all next time.